Yes, grade 11s, welcome back. This time around, we are looking at question 5 as part of our exam preparation. So this question, it so happened to be based on functions. Okay, so what is it that you are given in this question? They gave us f of x is equals to negative x squared plus 6x plus 7, right? And we know a function of this form, it is parabola or an exponential graph, a parabola or a quadratic graph, right? So let's see, what is it that they want us to do here? Determine the coordinates of the turning point of F, okay? They want us to determine the coordinates of the turning point of F. So one best way of doing that, if it is given in the standard form, right? Question 5 is to apply the equation, the what is it? So they're giving us f of x is equals to negative x squared plus 6x plus 17. And the question there is for us to determine the coordinates of the turning point, right? So they want us to determine the coordinates of the turning point. So we know that, okay, one best way, this parabola is given in the standard form. And then what is it that we know? For us to find the coordinate of the turning point, they mean x and y, right? So TP for turning point. I want us to find x and y for the turning point. Now, it is given in the standard form, right? In the standard form, I mean ax squared plus bx plus c, okay? So if it is given in the standard form like this, okay? If you get a question that is given in the standard form like this, how do you find the coordinate of turning point? It follows that at the turning point, okay, x at the turning point, okay, x at the turning point, right? X at the turning point. X at the turning point is x is equals to negative b over 2a, right? That is how we find the x value at the turning point. So following that, what is b here? B is this one, so it's going to be negative. I open my bracket, I put my 6 and then over 2 multiplied by the one is negative, so I have negative 1 there. And then what is going to be my x value at the turning point? X value at the turning point, it's simply going to be negative 6 all divided by 2 multiplied by negative 1. Okay? And that is what? That is 3. There you go. So now you have the x value at the turning point. How are you going to find the y value? Remember that we already found the x value at the turning point. How are you going to find the value of y? To find the value of y at the turning point, what do? We're gonna substitute, right, in the original equation. So this is the original equation. We found that x here is 3. Where we see x, we're gonna put 3. So f of 3 is gonna be equal to negative 3 squared plus 6 multiplied by 3 plus 7, right? And by so doing, you're just gonna get your max. So yeah, negative, and then 3 squared plus 6 multiplied by 3, and then plus 7. That is going to give you 16. So it therefore means that the turning point of the graph is point 3 and 16. Okay, so you have the point 3 and 16. So that is it with the 5.1. Moving on to 5.2. What are they asking us on 5.2? 5.2, they're saying we must determine the, you can't see it. So here is it. Determine the x-intercept of f, right? So x-intercept, how do you find the x-intercept? When they talk about x-intercept, what do we know? X-intercept, with x-intercept, we let y equal to 0, right? So what do we know? F of x, which is equals to negative x squared plus 6x, right? Plus 7, right? This whole thing is the same as y. So f of x is this, and f of x is the same as y, right? So with f of x being the same as y, And we are saying here we must let y to be equal to 0. So this y here, I'm going to make it to be 0, right? So it means I'm going to have negative x squared plus 6x plus 7, and make it to be equal to 0, right? And with it being equal to 0, I have negative here. I want to make it to be positive. I divide total out by negative. So I'm going to have x squared minus 6x minus 7 is equals to 0, right? You know that factorization is a problem. Don't try to factorize when you know you are having a problem with factorization. Just go for a quadratic formula and find the solution, right? So what is going to be my x? X is going to be something, or x is going to be that other thing, right? So let's see. Using the quadratic formula, you know the quadratic formula by now. I take it that you know the quadratic formula by heart. So if you now solve for x using the quadratic formula, what are you going to get? You're going to have negative. What is b? B here is, as you can see, it's negative 6 there. So negative 6. I'm starting with the minus to get the smallest one. Then negative 6 squared minus 4. A there, as you can see here, A here is 1. Then multiplied by C. C there it's what? As you can see here, what is the value of C here? So the value of C here is negative 7. So see there it's negative 7 all divided by 2 times A, and 2 times A there, 2 times A, the value of A there is 1. So you see, the connection is not stable, but we're going to try, don't worry. This is negative 1, right? And then if I put a positive there, what am I going to get? If I put a positive there, I'm getting, let's see, I'm getting a 7. So you see, I get x equal to 7, and that is great. So now we have x equal to negative 1 and x equal to 7. X is negative 1 here, so if I put it with x, I'm going to have plus inside, right? And if I take this one inside, I'm going to have x minus 7, okay? So they are marked for this part. That's why I always advise you to use the quadratic formula to get the solutions and come back to the factors, okay? So they said we must find the coordinate of the x-intercept, right? So our x-intercept here, we have the point negative 1 and 0. I'm just going to say, okay, point 1, and then point 2, that is 7 and 0. So these are the coordinates of the x-intercept. So that is it with the 5.2. And then draw a sketch of f, clearly indicating all intercepts with the axis and the turning point, okay? And the turning point. So they want us to indicate the intercepts. So far on the previous question, we only found the x-intercept, right? The turning point, we found it, and we are left with finding the y-intercept, right? So they want us to sketch the graph. So with sketching the graph, this is what I always do. Let me show you what I do, because this is not an accurate graph, you know? So sketching, there's a difference between sketching and drawing, you know? Sketching, it's just making a rough way. Drawing, it's taking the ruler and a pencil, you are, you know, hey, you're not drawing here, you're sketching, right? So with sketching, what is that is important for us to know? We want to sketch the graph of f of x, right? Which is equal to negative x squared plus 6x, right? Plus 7, right? What is important is we know this thing here, it is a parabola, right? We know that this thing here is a parabola. So with this thing being a parabola, we know that a parabola can either take this shape, right? Or it can either take this shape, right? And what controls that is the value of a, right? If a is positive, right? This is for a, that is positive, right? And this is for a, that is negative. We know that. So it so happened that in this case, a is negative, right? A is negative. So they're saying my sketch. Just gonna take my sketch, put my sketch like this, right? Okay, this is my sketch. This is how my shape is gonna be. And then in addition to that, I just put my x-intercept because those are the one that controls where am I going to put my x-intercept, right? My x-axis. So the point that I got here is what? This point here, I have -1 and 0, right? This is the point here. And then this other one here, I have what? Let's see, 7 and 0, okay? This is a scale. Don't stress yourself with trying to do things that I created. And then with that being the case, I need my y-intercept. So you see, if this is -1 here and this is 7 here, so it means -1 is close to 0, so I can put my Cartesian plane somewhere here, okay? I can put my Cartesian plane somewhere here. So you see, this is a sketch. Don't spend most of your time trying to draw things that are accurate. It's a sketch. This is my sketch. So x-axis, this is the one. This is the x-axis, right? So what is it that I don't have? I don't have the y-intercept, right? So turning point, let's see, where is the turning point? The turning point, we got it to be 3 and 16, right? So I'm gonna put there, this is my turning point. This is the point, 3 and 16. This is what this thing must show, okay? And then we're left with finding the what is it, the y-intercept. Y-intercept, what do? We let x equal to 0, right? So this is the graph, okay? Where we see x, we're gonna put 0 there. So we're gonna have f of 0 is equals to negative 0 squared plus 6 multiplied by 0 plus 7, okay? And if you solve for this part, oh, I cannot see that you can't see this. So if you solve for this part, you see you're gonna get 0, you're gonna get 0 here. So it means you're gonna get f of 0 being 7. So it means y-intercept is the point 0 and 7. So this is just the point 0 and 7. You see? And by so doing, we are done. You don't have to be spending the whole day trying to draw a graph. Can you imagine spending the whole day trying to draw a graph? You don't have to be doing that, okay? So that is it. Now, having said that, what is it that we are now required to do? That was 5.3. Now we are looking at 5.4. Write down the equation of the axis of symmetry of F. Okay. Now, if you go back to the graph, right? If you go back to the graph, the axis of symmetry of F, right? Axis of symmetry. When we talk of symmetry, we are talking of the line that cuts the graph into two equal halves, right? So this is just a sketch. This by what? By virtue of the nature, by the nature of a parabola, this side and this side, they are supposed to be equal, right? But this is just a sketch. So we are talking about that x value, x equal to blah, 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 which makes this graph, this part equal to this part, this half here equal to this other half, right? And that part is what? X equal to 3, right? So x equal to 3, that's that part that we're talking about. So x is equal to 3. So what must I say to you that you are supposed to now take with you? You must take with you that the x value of the turning point is that equation of the axis of symmetry, right, on the parabola. So x equal to 3, that would be the answer to the equation of the axis of symmetry. You see, even that question was allocated how many marks? It was just a mark there. You see, this is just a mark here. So that is how it is. Now, 5.5. 5.5, determine the average gradient of f between x equal to -3 and x equal to y, right? They want to determine the average gradient. So don't be what? Don't be tricked by this average gradient thing, you know. To find the average gradient, right? You see, they gave you 2 points already there. So how do you find the gradient? Let's take it from the 5.5, right? They want you to find the average gradient, right? So let me put it this way so that it will be easy for me to present, right? So what am I saying to you? They want you to find the average gradient, right? So you know the formula to find the gradient. You don't have to be tricked by them saying average gradient. The formula is the same. Average gradient says what? Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? So you need to have 2 points for you to find the gradient, right? But what did they do, these people? These people, they gave you two x values only. So it means you have to find the y values on your own, right? So they gave you x is equal to -3. There it is. They gave you x is equal to -3 and x is equal to 1 there. Okay? So x is equal to -3 and x is equal to 1. So to find the y value for this one, we're gonna use that equation of our equation of the graph, which is what? Equation of the graph, it says f of x is equals to -x squared plus 6x plus 7, right? This is what the graph says. So we need to put -3 where we see x. So f of -3 is equals to -3 squared plus 6 multiplied by -3 plus 7, right? And for this one here, f of 1 is going to be equal to -1 squared plus 6 multiplied by 1 plus 7, okay? This is how it is going to be. Okay, fine. So negative -3 squared plus 6 multiplied by -3 plus 7. What is it that you're going to get? You get -20 here. So the point that you have here, it is -3 and -20, right? And then what about this one? This one here, if we substitute 1 there instead of -3, let's see what I'm going to get. So here you get 12. So it means the point that we have here, it is what? 1 and 12. So to find the gradient, this is the formula, right? So we're just going to say, okay, m average is going to be equal to y2. So I'm going to take this one as my y2, right? So I'm going to have -20 minus this y, which is 12 all over -3, right? Minus this one here, which is 1. You see? And what are we going to get? Don't be tricked by them saying m average. Don't. -20 minus 12 all over -3 minus 1. This is what we get as our gradient. M average is that 8 there that you see. So that is how we will have went about solving this kind of equation. So don't be tricked by them saying M average. They are just trying to trick you. Okay? All right. There you go. Okay, now what is it that we have? 5.6 there. They're saying the graph of f is shifted 4 units to the left, right? And reflected in the x-axis to form the graph of a. Write down the new equation of h in the form of h of x is equals to a plus x plus p squared plus q, right? So this is the completed square form, right? In the form of a completed square. So that's what they want us to do on a 5.4. So want us to write the graph of h, right? So 5.5, is it 5.5? Yeah, 5.5. This was 5.5. Wait, what is happening here? Oh, 5.5, we did solve 5.5. Okay, it's fine. We did solve 5.5. Now I'm looking at 5.6, right? So 5.6, they are telling us that a new graph is formed, right? The graph of h of x, right? The graph of h of x is formed, and we are supposed to write that graph of h of x in the form of ax squared a x plus p inside the bracket squared plus q. This is how you're supposed to write the new graph of h, right? Okay, so how is this graph formed? Now, let me draw a Cartesian plane so that I'll be able to explain how the graph is formed according to the statement, right? So they are saying to us here, the graph of f, right? The graph of f is shifted 4 units to the left, right? So we have the graph of f in this way, right? We have the graph of f in this way, right? So this is where the graph of f was initial. Okay, let me see something. Yeah, so the graph of f is this. This is the graph of f, right? As you can see, this is the graph of f, right? So they told us here that the graph of f, if let me see. Okay, let me redraw a new graph because this one it looks like it's not going to work for this one. So we had the graph of f somewhere there, and then what are they saying? I'm just going to draw my Cartesian plane. Okay, just going to draw my Cartesian plane. So let's interpret how this transformation, how are they transforming? Because this is kind of transformations. So they're saying to us here, they're saying the graph of f is shifted 4 units to the left, right? 4 units to the left. Which one is the left side? This side, right? So they're shifting the graph 4 units this side, right? 4 units to the left, right? Where is that shifting happening? It is happening on the x-axis, right? So on the x, that is where the shifting is happening. Now, if you shift the graph this side, right? If you shift the graph to the left, left means you are adding to the original x that you have, right? So the original x that you had was what? F of x is equals to f of x is equals to negative x squared plus 6x plus 7, right? This is where I'm getting it. This is where it is coming from. You see, this is the original x that you. So now we are shifting it this side, right? We are shifting it to the left. Now to the left, when you shift the graph to the left, you should know that you are adding, right? And when you shift the graph to the right, you are subtracting, right? So I'm not going to put about anything about the right, but I'm just telling you, just in case in future you get a question that is talking about shifting a graph to the left, okay? To the right, I mean. So to the left, what are we saying? We are saying we are adding to the original x, right? So it means x is going to be x plus 4. So on the graph of h of x, the first thing that we are doing, our goal is to get a new graph, which is h, right? So to get h, we're going to do the first thing first is to do what? Is to do x plus 4. Where we see x, we're going to put x plus 4, which is going to be equal to negative, right? This is x. I have x plus 4, right? Squared plus 6, x plus 4, then plus 7, right? This is how you're going to get the new transformation. Okay? So with that said, what is it that we are supposed to do now? Now they're asking that they continue, it didn't end here. They said the graph of f is shifted 4 units to the left and reflected in the x-axis to form h, right? So when you reflect, this is the graph, right? This is the graph. So they are saying it is now reflected on the x-axis, right? Reflection is making a mirror image about the x-axis, right? So you see, this is what we did first. We shifted it 4 units to this side. Now, when we reflected about the x-axis, what do we mean? The graph is now shifted to this side, right? This is the first thing that they did. This is the first thing that they did, right? The first thing that they did is to shift it this side. So now it has come this side. It has been transformed. It has come this side, right? It has come to the left side. And when it came to the left side, the other thing that they did, they reflected it. So reflection, I'm talking to you right now to say about the x-axis. This is the x-axis, we know. And we are saying here, when we reflect, we are making a mirror image, okay? So making a mirror image, it's this, right? It's this, right? So what changed? This is the curve, right? And we know above the x-axis, this is above the x-axis, right? We are on the y. The y's that are here, the y values that constitute this part here, they are all positive y values, right? But now below the x-axis, the y's, this shape here is formed by negative y values, right? So when we reflect this graph, we are simply saying make y to be negative, right? So h is going to behave what? Negative y. Okay? is when I have negative f of x extra. So in this case, the something that we did there, first transformation, let's work it out, and then we're gonna make it to be negative, and in that way, we will have solved our transformation successfully. Okay, so this is what we have on shifting the graph of h to be what? On shifting the graph to and the graph of f of x to be 4 units, and then now we want to make f of x to be negative, right? Negative, okay? And then we'll solve the negative. So we're gonna have okay, the graph of h is gonna be negative f of x plus 4, which is equals to x plus 4 squared plus 6 multiplied by x plus 4, okay, plus 7. So let's work it out. So this is negative f x plus 4 equal to x plus 4 square x plus 4 multiplied by x plus 4, okay? Then plus 6 x plus 4 plus 7, okay? Then negative f of x plus 4 is going to be equal to, this is h of x actually. This is h of x, right? H of x is negative of f of x plus 4. So negative of f of x plus 4, I'm no longer going to carry this out, okay? So yeah, h of x will be equal to negative, right? This part here, remember there's a negative here. I forgot about the negative. Negative here, so there's a negative here, right? So if you now say x times x, that's gonna be x squared. Yeah, it's gonna be x squared, right? And then if you say x times 4, that's gonna be plus 4x. If you say now 4 times x, that's gonna be plus 4x as well. 4 times 4, that's gonna be plus 16. And then plus 6 times x, this is 6x. 6 times 4, this is what? 24. Let me verify. Yes, 24. And then the last thing there we have 7, right? So I've just added my 7 there. Don't worry, there's a 7 there. Okay, h of x will be equal to negative, right? So now, what is it that we have? Inside the negative again, so I still have my square bracket with me. Then these two are like terms. I will have x squared here, plus these two, they're going to give me 8x, okay? And then plus 16 plus 6x, 24 plus 7, 24 plus 7, that gives me 31, plus 31 here, okay? And this is going to be negative, okay? Then I take this one inside to say negative times x squared, that's going to be negative x squared, negative times 8, negative 8x, negative times 16, negative 16, negative times 6, no, this is this part, then plus 6x plus 31, okay? And then negative x squared, this one here is negative x squared. Then if I work out, I take negative 8 and negative 6x, that's going to give me negative 2x, negative 16 and negative 31, negative 16 plus 31, that is giving me plus 15. And then my h of x is going to be x squared, and negative times negative is x squared plus 2x minus 15, right? But then they said we must write it in the form, in this form, right? So we must write it in this form, and already it is not in that form. So what do? We have to complete a square. So by completing a square, what do you look at? You look at this one here to say, okay, x squared plus 2x, right? And then what do we do? Minus 2 divided by 2 squared, okay? And then you have minus 15 here. Then we say plus 2 over 2 squared, okay? So that's what that one thing that we know that we must do for us to complete a square. So, yeah. Now let me take it this side. Yo, my connection is so poor, but we're gonna thrive. We're gonna thrive. We're gonna thrive. We're gonna thrive. So let me take it this side because my connection is so poor, yo. Let me take it this side and it will become clear. What I said there was h of x was gonna be equal to x squared plus 2x, okay, minus 2 over 2 squared minus 15, okay, then plus 2 over 2 squared. All right. So this is going to be equal to, so this one here, I'm going to have x squared plus 2x, 2 divided by 2 minus 2 divided by 2, that is 1 squared minus 15, then 2 divided by 2, that's plus 1 squared, okay? So this part here is what I'm going to put inside the bracket to say I'm going to have x, I factorize it. When I factorize it, it's always going to be x minus 1 squared, okay? And then this part here is what I'm going to work it out to say negative 15 plus 1 squared, that is going to be negative 14. So in this way, your graph is in the form that they want you to put it. And this is how you'll have went about solving that question. So yeah, that was it with question 5, and this is where it ends. So I hope when you watch this, you'll be able to understand how are you supposed to solve a question that relates to transformation. That is it for now. We'll meet when we do question 6.